Finally done with episode 13 of Oblivion Remastered mods. You know, making these videos is never super easy, but I think I've been doing a decent job staying very consistent with it. So now that episode 13's all set, let's get working on episode 14, shall we?
The next day.
Whew. Well, we're about halfway done, I think. Got some of the recording done. I've got a good list of mods. Some of the editing's all done. I think I should be able to get this out by tomorrow, maybe.
Tomorrow.
Alrighty, yesterday went super well, got a lot done, but I think I could use like 1 or 2 more mods to feature in this episode. I just feel like we're missing something. Oh no. Well, here we are. If you are new to the channel, welcome in. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today, we are going to be looking at some amazing Oblivion Remastered mods. If you are a returning viewer, thank you very much for sticking with me. If you've seen any of my other mod showcase videos, you're probably realizing that this intro is very different from all of the other ones. And real quick, before I start rambling, if you want to just go check out the mods, that's what I leave the timestamps for. I don't want to waste any of your time, so go skip ahead to what you want to see. But for anybody that's curious, if you couldn't tell by my amazing intro to this video, making episode 14 has been the most hellacious experience I've ever had trying to make and release a YouTube video. For anybody who hasn't played the game in a little bit, Bethesda released the first post-launch update for Oblivion Remastered on June 11th, which is great because the update did fix a lot of bugs and issues, but it also broke so many mods, and in my case, I was having crashes upon launching the game every single time, no matter what I tried to do. I ended up having to go through my computer and looking for any file related to Oblivion Remastered and deleting them, and then do a fresh, clean reinstall on my game. And luckily from there, I was able to get into the game and I could start manually reinstalling all of the mods I wanted to, which was a bit of a process, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just really happy that I was able to successfully back up my save files. Right now, knock on wood, I seem to be able to get into both of them pretty well, and that's great because had I lost them, it probably would have taken me even longer to start making the videos again, because some of the mods you just need to be progressed a certain way throughout the game. So hey, silver lining. And at the end of the day, I can get back to making these videos, and I hope you guys are as excited to continue this journey with me as I am. And lastly, before we get into the video, a mega shout out to Belladova on YouTube. It was their suggestion on my YouTube community tab post that finally got my game working again. I don't think I mentioned it before, but when I was troubleshooting initially, I just tried uninstalling and then reinstalling Oblivion through Steam normally first, and I was still crashing on launch. Belladova suggested doing a search on my computer for the word Oblivion, and lo and behold, there were some files related to Oblivion Remastered in places I didn't know to look, and it was by deleting those files and then doing one last reinstall through Steam that I finally got the game working again. And one last thank you to Mr. Offzivogel. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. Big thank you to you as well for responding to one of my cries for help. I did not know about this tip that you suggested, which I'll pop on screen if it's not there already, so thank you very much for the response. If you guys haven't checked out the posts tab on my YouTube channel, I am using it, and I'm planning on using it a little bit more going forward. It's a nice way for me just to quickly get updates without having people go on to another platform. But with all of that out of the way, thank you in advance to all of the modders who are featured in today's episode. I'm going a little bit lighter on the editing for this one just so I can get it out at this point because it has been over a week, but I think I've been rambling here long enough. We're all here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to check out some amazing mods. I have been excited for over a week to say this once more. Roll the intro! first mod to get us back into the swing of things is Change Appearance Anytime by ECN06033. Now, when visiting Divine Elegance in the Imperial City Market District, you can talk to Palinira about changing your appearance for just 25 gold. As some of you may know, there is a way to edit your character without using mods by entering in a console command. However, this console command will reset all of your stats. Using this mod, this will not happen. You will retain all of your stats, all of your levels, all of your attributes, so you don't have to worry about that. There are a few minor limitations that you're going to want to keep in mind when using the mod, however. I'm just going to go over some of them briefly here, but if you want to check out all of them, make sure to read the mod's description. For starters, if you have any mods that alter your base skills or attributes to go above 130, the mod will reset those stats. It's also recommended that you change your appearance shortly after leveling up, as changing your appearance in Divine Elegance will reset any progress you have towards your next level up. The mod author does also mention that special permanent abilities may be lost, and you'll have to manually re-add them through console commands. They include examples like the Grey Prince's Training or Sun Damage for Vampires. One thing that's pretty awesome though that I do want to mention is that the mod author does seem quite aware of the limitations and is actively looking at updating and improving the mod as time goes on. Like I mentioned in the intro, I actually had about half of this mod showcase video recorded before the update, but unfortunately I had to scrap like all of it because of the update. And when making the first version of this video that's now lost to the void, this mod was supposed to be in it, but I ended up having to shelve it because at the time it was resetting some of my stats. But luckily it's been updated since, so I highly recommend this mod for anybody looking for an immersive way to safely change your character's appearance. But with that, we are on to the next mod. Our second mod for today's video is Row Your Boat by Dactyl. Behind the abandoned shack in the Imperial City Waterfront District, you will now find a small rowboat with a sign saying it is for sale. By visiting Three Brothers Trade Goods in the Market District and talking to Sergius Virus, he will sell you the boat for 500 gold. Along with buying the boat itself, you can purchase 3 upgrades for it, a storage chest, a lamp, and a rope ladder, each for 100 additional gold. Heading back to the Waterfront District, by activating the boat, you will learn the new row spell and have access to the boat menu. On board, you will also find a new manual detailing you on how to use your new boat. However, I personally didn't find myself needing to read it to figure out how to use the boat. Everything is pretty self-explanatory. But if you don't want to read the whole book and are just looking for quick explanations on how to use it, there are a few paragraphs in the mod's description that go over everything that you need. Given that I'm thinking about starting a new hardcore, no fast travel playthrough, having new ways to travel is going to be awesome, and I'm very excited to see mods like this making their way to the Nexus. With that though, we are on to the next. The next mod we'll be looking at today is for my fellow listeners of the Dark Brotherhood. With Dark Brotherhood Black Hand Sanctum by Skullsy RS, you will have access to a new sanctuary after completing the guild's questline. And if you're watching this video and you haven't completed the questline yet, don't worry, I'm not showing anything here that has spoilers. And real quick, before we talk about the mod, if you haven't played Oblivion's Dark Brotherhood questline yet, I highly recommend it. In general, the guilds in Oblivion are just so masterfully done, but I think none are done better than the Dark Brotherhood. The quests are great, the rewards are awesome, the characters are fun to learn about, and as far as the story goes, I truly don't think Bethesda has ever created anything quite like the Oblivion Dark Brotherhood questline. Anyways, I could talk about this forever, and I might in a future video, but getting back to the mod here, with this mod installed, upon completing the Dark Brotherhood questline, a message pop-up will appear informing you that you have been given a key to Bravil's Sanctuary located underneath the chapel. Now, being completely upfront and honest, it took me an embarrassing amount of time to find the entrance to this sanctuary. The mod page only gives you a hint on where to find the entrance, and in my defense, I technically found it pretty quickly, but it seems the hitbox to interact with the door to get inside is quite small. But I don't even want to know how long I was running around the chapel looking for flower patches, but I did end up finding it, and let me tell you, this sanctuary is incredible. It is dramatically larger than the Cheydinhal Sanctuary, so I'm not going to be able to show you everything here, but honestly, at the end of the day, I think it's better like that because it's going to leave more for you to explore. There are 2 NPCs, at least from what I found, inside the sanctuary. First up, my guy, Derek the Argonian. he really doesn't do much right now, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. You know, he's kind of new in the guild, and I don't want to like discourage him or anything. Can we get a like on this video for Derek? And the other NPC you will find here is the Vampire Matriarch. Currently, she serves as a shopkeep, selling a large variety of weapons, which was honestly really nice because I had been looking for a Daedric short sword for quite a while, and she happened to have one. So big dubs. Regardless of their limited functionality, though, I am really happy to see that there are NPCs here. It just helps with immersion. But for me, the highlight is just the visuals that you get when walking around. Some of the rooms and spaces are just absolutely incredible looking. So again, if you're a fan of the Dark Brotherhood, I would highly recommend checking out this mod. It's really cool to see a mod like this because we know there are other sanctuaries in Cyrodiil. We just don't know where they are or how to get to them. So seeing a mod that adds a new one in is super cool, and I'd love to see more get added in the future. With that though, we are on to our next mod. The next mod we are looking at today is Grass Replacer WildGrass by Grassfinch. If you've watched previous episodes on this channel, you may have noticed that Grassfinch has been featured before with their mod Longgrass. Their new mod WildGrass is what they're calling the 3.0 version of that Longgrass mod, just being re-released under a different name. I really love how lush and untamed all of the grass looks after installing this mod, and my favorite part about it is that depending on what area of the map you're on, the grass may be different colored. For instance, if you venture to the colder north end of the map, grass will now be brown and dead, as opposed to looking lush and alive. This mod does come in 3 variations, a mid-green, an olive green, and a yellow green. For all of the shots prior to this collage, I was using the mid-green variant. My personal favorite, however, is the olive green. That's the one I've chosen to keep installed after making this video. And regardless of whichever one you pick, you can always swap it out. Having options is amazing, so thank you Grassfinch for that. But we are on to our last mod for today's video. And for our last mod of the day, we look at Longsword Animation Overhaul by BWV997. As you'd expect given the title, now when using a longsword, all attacking animations will be different. This includes power attacks and does work in first person as well. And best of all, the mod author seems to want to continue working on this, potentially adding in other weapons in the future. So if you are a longsword user, I highly recommend you check this one out. The animations are super clean. They're very high quality. But with that being said, we are set to close today's episode. So yeah, that's all I have for today's episode. I'm cutting it short because it's already been almost 3 weeks since the last time I uploaded a showcase, and I just want to get this episode out at this point and get going on to the next one. I think at this point, just having a clean, fresh start on an episode is going to help, because at this point, like, literally every step of the way, I had hurdles making this one. You know, up until this point, I was at a pretty good pace where I was getting 1, maybe 2 episodes out per week. And just to be clear, this had nothing to do with any of the mods I featured, just between my schedule the past few weeks and then the timing of the update. But the longer I complain about this episode, the longer I have to work on it, and at this point, like I said, I just want to get this sucker out. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy, I would highly appreciate a like. If you want to keep up to date with the best mods coming to Oblivion Remastered, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But with all of that being said, I will see you in the next video.